I'm sorry, did anyone else have any questions for Ms. Hampton? Okay. Okay, and now we invite anyone else. I'm sorry. Ms. Ide, please come forward.
Good evening, Mayor Powell and council members. My name is Cathy Ide. I live at 3838 Garden Creek Road, Casper 82601. Originally, I was going to begin tonight with a quote from Henry David Thoreau. That government is best which governs least. But then I decided that legacy projects versus potholes would be more apropos. It is readily apparent that this council and management's view of the role of government seems to be out of sync with what our nation's founders had intended, that being the primary objective to implement a system which limited government and defended liberty at all levels. In my opinion, this council has gone beyond this limited scope and instead has fallen for the illusion that prosperity is to be provided through the hands of government. Unfortunately, many of us have become so focused on national and world politics, Fox News, etc., that we have overlooked the overreach of our own local government. It seems that many of our current city and county elected officials and city management have lost sight of the fact that they were elected to implement and oversee policy that allows our city to run efficiently, not to become local developers competing with private business people, all at the expense and risk of Casper taxpayers. Coming from this perspective, I'm sure you can understand my serious concerns when reading the 2015 City Council goals, which are printed here on your agenda. As I scrolled through those goals, I noticed one word that was repeated in all three items, and that word is develop. Rather than focusing on core functions of our city, this council goals seem to be growing government through development. As a matter of fact, the city's website states, the resources of the Redevelopment Land Fund are intended to be used to acquire land and buildings for resale to support the city's redevelopment efforts. End quote. These efforts by the city are in direct competition with the livelihood of our citizens right here in Casper, who are private developers and redevelopers. In addition to your stated goals, the council and management have been quite generous in its support of many more developments, both public and private, such as the convention center, hotel complex, financial assistance in renovating the Star Apartments, land swaps here and there to benefit a multi-million-dollar Casper Mountain Biathlon Center, the Artist Guild Warehouse, $361 million bailout for Windy City subsidized housing, $6 million for the new Hogadon Ski Lodge, multi-million dollars for the Carper Officer program, plus many, many more non-core projects. Even though the optional 1-cent sales tax number 14 produced in excess of $24 million, so far that all that has been tentatively designated is $2 million for the wastewater treatment facility, a mere pittance of the $30 million which will highly likely be needed in the future for upgrades our city will be faced with. As you know, the most recent citizen surveys were conducted indicate our residents' top priorities are maintaining our city's infrastructure and core functions, such as filling potholes, not increasing more legacy projects. Rather than focusing on infrastructure needs by using the excess number 14 for roads, water lines, and the wastewater treatment facility, this council continues to focus on special interests and humanitarian needs, which are best served by the private sector. This is evidenced by the increase in the number of 1-cent projects from the original 1 cent in 1974-75, which involved a total of 4 core projects, to now a whopping 36 projects, I believe, for 1 cent number 14. And as a matter of fact, of those 36 projects, I believe 23 of those projects were not for core functions. Well-intentioned, though misguided, this council's actions encourage government dependency and a subsidy mentality. For those of our community who are in need, America's citizens have been the most generous in the world for helping those who are less privileged. Private charities, private foundations, private donors, and religious organizations have been and continue to be the most abundant and efficient resources for lending a hand to those in need. My husband and I have great joy to be able to share the blessings of our own good fortune with others. When you promote government charity, you actually deprive our citizens of the blessings which come from giving personally, as they too become dependent on government stepping in and filling that role. Another alarming item is a recent quote made by Councilman Hopkins in reference to creation of the Opportunity Fund, and I quote you, "I understand we are picking winners and losers here, but you know, if Boeing wanted to come in and build a multi-million-dollar plant, I would give them the money tonight," end quote. This rendered me nearly speechless, and it begs the question, whose money is it? With all due respect, Councilman Hopkins, I would have no objection to you writing a personal check out to Boeing, but comments like these insult the hard-working taxpayers in Casper who object to corporate cronyism. Instead of focusing on corporate handouts which come at the expense of taxpayers' pocketbooks, let's promote the attractions of lower sewer rates, lower property taxes, and fewer regulations. These actions are the type that benefit every citizen in our community, not just a chosen few. Though unsexy, these are the types of things that encourage and support private industry and free market development. The special projects and special interest groups that this council and management deem worthy of taxpayer funding effectually betray the Wyoming spirit of fierce independence, self-reliance, industriousness, generosity, and imagination. I encourage this council to step back and re-examine the role you have taken upon yourselves. I encourage this council to exercise a hand so slight that our city government is almost imperceptible, just like the inner workings of a finely tuned piece of machinery. Thankfully, there is a growing contingent of concerned citizens in Casper who share my sentiments. We realize that our youth are being saddled with the tremendous national debt that this generation has heaped upon them. Let us not be the ones to increase that burden at a local level by continuing to expand government dependency on subsidized programs and projects. Rather, we must look to the individuals of Casper for achieving prosperity, not our elected city officials, bureaucrats, or government planners. Without a doubt, I believe that every one of you on this council are here because of your care and your commitment to our city, and I truly appreciate your hard work and your dedication. But to me, it all comes down to this question. Do you, the council, have faith in the individual citizens of Casper that their strengths, talents, and generosity are enough to serve the needs and continue the path to prosperity for our city? I do. If you agree with me, then I encourage this council to focus on filling potholes, not legacy projects, to rein in government programs and growth, to adhere to truly limited civic government and fiscal conservatism, and to let our residents lead the way to a prosperous Casper. Thank you.
Questions from
Do you have any
Ms.
questions?
Councilman Hedquist.
I don't really have a question. It's kind of more of a comment. First of all, I want to concede that she was gracious enough to show me a property, so I hope that doesn't cause an issue. But anyway, although I don't agree with every point you make, the overall part of what you were saying, the one part I really agree with is that it's easy for us to focus on what goes on at a national level and complain about that. Mm-hmm. But that's all a deal of human nature, so we have it right here, and we have a better chance to impact right here where we're at. We take care of our porch first. So I also want to thank you, even though you were kind of very straightforward. That was very polite, so I was kind of taken back. So anyway, I think you made some very good points, and I think it's stuff that we should think about. And the one point I really took away is that when we do stuff here, we're just doing what we're supposed to do, and maybe we use too many big words to explain what we're doing. I don't know that we're doing anything great or special. We're just doing what we're supposed to do. And so sometimes we do a good job at it, sometimes we don't. Mm-hmm. So if you people keep coming and holding us accountable and asking questions, I think it will go a lot better. So thank you.
Other questions from